Just trying to find myself. Here we go. Is there anybody watching? Go. Oops. To mute myself. Sorry, girls. Good to go. Okay, I'll move that out of the way. Bring you in just a little. Good morning, Robin. How are we? Happy Sunday. I'll give it a couple of minutes just to check that there's someone watching or a few people watching. I know it's starting to warm up in Canberra, so my children and husband have gone out before it gets too hot and we have to come home and turn the air conditioning on. So for now I'm home alone, which is great. So, all right, welcome back to Natalie May Scrapbooking. I'm Naomi. I'm one of the brand ambassadors. Nat is having a very well-deserved day off. Hello, Susan. After her epic 3 days of live Facebooks, which have been fantastic. I missed yesterday afternoons, but I caught up at 11 o'clock after I got home after a few drinks with some friends. Morning, Mona. So today the sales continue. So the weekend specials as part of the Great International Craft Show Online number 21 will continue. So we have 15% off pattern paper, 15% off All and Create, 15% off Minte and 3/4 designs, 15% off 49er Market and Simple Stories, 15% off Paper Rose and Uniquely Creative, and massive sales on Christmas. Anything Christmas is 30% off, I believe, and there's a big clearance section, although I think you girls, I forgot to put my phone on do not, oh no, it is on do not disturb. That's crazy. Anyway, Nat created the accordion album. So let me pop this away and I just wanted to show you mine. So these are the accordion albums and I finished mine. You may have seen, I put up some photos. So this is my front and my back. So I did mine in October. So that's obviously the new collage papers. Bit vintagey for me, but I've done two different styles. So this is mine and it's going to be a little bit difficult to show on the camera, but I'll try. So I decided that this side was going to be all different girls. Very similar to what Nat did yesterday. But I kind of created separately rather than one big thing. This one is that beautiful, I believe this one is in the Black Friday sales. This is a Tracy Scott girl, and I can't remember what the stamp's called, but if you look under Black Friday sales, she's in there. And that's all, this is part of that stamp. And then I've got this one. And moving on to that one. And then my other side, I did Art by Marlene. So mine is completely different. And it is such a good little book just to do some little projects. Use up some of those gorgeous die cuts from the Art by Marlene stash. And it stores nice and easy on your shelf or just pop it in your wherever you store your crafty goodness. The other thing that I wanted to show you for the scrapbookers, so I think these are called the Big Picture albums. So I've done a couple of these. I went on a cruise last Christmas, so I'm having a little bit of withdrawals because I kind of wish I was on a cruise this year. No, not really. I'm going to Melbourne to visit my brother with my family. So these are the 49er Market Big Picture albums. Now these are 15% off. I love these. I actually did a lot of this on the couch when I was unwell. because it's just glue and cutting. So this is a bonus. You don't get the instructions for the front. I just use, these are all extras that I didn't use from my album. Thanks, Faye. So now I followed the picture instructions and the instructions you get. You get instructions on how to put this album together. Everything comes with it. The photos that you can use, it's got a frame here, and I've used exactly what it is, but I had my photos already printed, so they didn't all work for me. So as I flip through this, you'll see that I've changed the frames of the photos and just made them my own, with still having the layout that is in, and here's the first example. I just used a bit of blue cardstock and made this one my own. So we went to Fiji on our cruise last year. And like, these are just gorgeous little die cuts. You don't have to cut anything. It just pops out. You've got your backing paper. I've only added this blue because of what I did. You get the washi tape, all included. Everything is all there. So it's a gorgeous little way of, and it's a great little present. So there's a few different ranges. So this one is the sunburst one. I do have the Christmas one, but that's old, very old. But I've done a few of these, and they're great little, good for gifts, and that sort of thing. All right, so today I'm going to continue a Christmas thing, and we are going to do a couple of different Christmas tags, a few different ways. So what have I got? I'm going to use this Dina Wakley stencil. I think it's called Circles for Painting. Not 100% sure, but if you look under Dina Wakley on the website, it is on there. And I use this all the time, but we're going to use this a different way today. So that's that. And I do apologize. I might move my extra light. I didn't think I'd need, not used to crafting in daylight with you girls. It's I'll just move my light around. It's a bit of a shadow. I don't know if that's bothering you, but it's a bit annoying. Anyway, it's where the sun's coming in, so it's not helping me. Daylight crafting isn't helping me in here. All right, so no, I think I just made that worse. Sorry, girls. I even tested and everything, and it was good. It's just annoying me. Okay, I got a thumbs up, so I'm just going to continue. So what else have I got? So I've got these All and Create papers. So these are double-sided papers. You get 10 in here. I've already used a bunch of mine. And this is number 10, the Bronze and Brassy Days. So I'm going to make some tags with these. So this is only half of it, but I'm going to use these and make some Christmas tags. So I've got a few different colors. They're really heavy quality. They're 350 GSM. So, oh, I love that blue, that one. So I'm going to make some Christmas tags out of those. And I also have, so these are 15% off. Good morning, Susan. I also have some of the, now this is 30% off. This is the Christmas tissue paper from Paper Artsy, and it is the, it's Joe Furf, so it's Jofy, Joffy. That's how I look it up. But if you look up under Christmas, Paper Artsy or tissue paper, it comes up on the website. I've been using this to death. So this is only one piece, and it's what I've got left. You get about 6 sheets or something. So it wouldn't, like, you could even wrap a small gift in it, like a pair of earrings or something in it. It's that cute. Give it a bit of color. We're going to use that today. So that's 30% off. And my focal point that I'm going to use, I have done some fussy cutting, so you girls don't have to watch me do this, is this gorgeous Christmas D stamp. I love the little D stamps. I think they're great. And I am going to just look away for a moment. If you get dizzy, I'm going to bring us down a little now that I'm not showing you those other things. That might help with the lighting too. There we go. So I love these little stamps, and I'm going to show you now how I store these little stamps. Stamps is one of my most frustrating storage options. I think I have changed the way I store my different types of stamps about 15 times and I'm still not happy. The only ones, oh, I do too, Susan. Isn't she beautiful? The only ones I store nicely are the Natalie May scrapbooking ones. So this is how, especially with the little ones, like I don't want to put the little ones into one of those little containers like Nats has them. So this is how I do these. And I got this off Marlene. So I keep this here and I turn this over. You take this off and she's already been used. Take all the stamps off. And then when I've done this, I just store them in a little drawer and they can sit up together. Sorry, girls, 2 seconds. Someone's knocking at my door. I'll be 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it's my children getting home. The 5-year-old knocked on the door, I thought it was someone else. They're a bit quicker. All right, so I just grabbed this, a bit of double-sided tape. And yes, I do use exactly the same as Nat. The Express It tape is my go-to. And I have all the sizes because I use them all for different things. Wore myself out. So I just pop this on here. It doesn't line up. So you get the idea. I kind of put it to this side and you'll see why in a minute. All right, then what I do is I put my stamps on, all wrapped up, the snowflake, Merry and Bright. And I love the little saying on this, let's get lit for Christmas. So I have my sister for Secret Santa and my mum. And my sister loves wine, so she's definitely going to get some Christmas tags with this. And then what I do is this top thin sheet is I pop it very close to the edge, and I know you can't see this, but it's right up to the edge here. And then I get some sticky tape, measure it out, and create a little flap over the front and over the back. Get my trusty scissors. Now, part of me crafting during the day is that you may hear my child singing Chipmunks at the moment in the background. So hopefully he's not too loud. So then this is how, so they come like that. So then they're stored in the shelf like that, and you can just flip them off. So every now and then when they get really old, I have to replace the sticky tape here. You could use some duct tape, but you know, it works for me and it's easy to store them in a thing like that. So that's how I store my mini stamps. All right, let's crack on. I'm going to use Magicals today. Surprise, surprise. I haven't used them yet, so I know Nat's been using them. So what we're going to do is first we're going to start with our tags. Now I'm going to do, I've got 6 Ds cut out, so I'm going to do 3 in each. So I'm going to get this all on Create paper. And I'm going to make my own tags. So we don't need anything other than, this is a small guillotine from Crafter's Companion. You can cut it however you like. So I'm just going to measure D to make sure that my usual size, which is about 2.5 by 3. So I'm going to have to make these a bit bigger. So I'm probably going to go 3 by 5 to make these a bit bigger. So I might do this piece because I already have an idea of my colours. And there's some gorgeous little cutter parts there you could use on the other side as well. Or that piece. I might use both of those because I do have an idea for non-traditional Christmas colours. All right, so we're going to go. I love my guillotine. I love it more than my cutter. So I'm going to go 3. 3 by... I feel like that was crooked. Let me just check. Oh, no, it's not. It's just the lines aren't straight. It makes it look crooked. 3 by 5 I'm going to go. And then I'll use that off cut for something later. And then I'll do another 3x5. These would be good to add the little, if you have a little photo as a bit of a textured. Oh, I like that side too. Oh, that's good. Maybe I'll do one on each. They're such cool papers. So I might actually cut this side this time to save wasting. Was anyone screaming at the screen just then going, Naomi, cut it the other way. You won't have as much wastage. There we go. All right, so I've got 3 of those. So they're my tags. Now, how do I make those into tags? I honestly don't need the guillotine anymore. This is how I make my tags. So I've got my trusty pink scissors. I've had my pink scissors for years. I cut off a corner like this. No measuring at all. I grab that corner, put it over this side, and then follow the cut, which makes those even. And then, now that I've got that, I can just pop that one in there. This one's a little bit wider, but that's okay. And cut there, cut there. So if you don't have, I mean, these aren't fancy tags, but if you don't have a tag die or anything like that, this is a nice and easy way to make your own tag shapes. Although, you know, those tag dies that you get are gorgeous because you can get fancy things. And then I've just got a hole punch. And I'll just punch that in the top. That one. And that one. All right. So that's 3 nice and easy card tags. We're going to come back to those. The next one is, I'm going to get some, now I'll show you my watercolor paper. I'm going to use watercolor paper. So this is the one that Nat sells, and it comes in a big pack like this. And I love it because it's quite a good price point, and it's very good quality watercolor. I'll pop that on the ground. So this is how I'm going to create my Christmas tags. I'm going to grab a pencil, just a lead pencil. Now, I could do a few different sizes. I could do this size. I think this size is good. If I wanted a little one, that one there would be good too. But I think I'm going to go with this size. And it kind of, you know, it's a bit different than being very, like, completely round. They're organic. As much as, you know, we all hate using that word because it sounds weird. But it's an easy way to make some, and then look, I can do, like this one could be a bauble. Couple there, and a couple there. So I'm only going to do a few because I'm going to have to cut those out, and I don't want you to have to watch me cut out too much. So is everyone surviving the heat and the rain from what I hear? We didn't get any rain, that's for sure. But I think when I went to bed at 11 o'clock last night, it was still 22 degrees. So, and we're in for another hot one for Canberra. I know everyone's got it quite a bit hotter than us, but that's hot for Canberra. And we have quite a dry heat in Canberra as well. So, all right. Now, I've got 6 pairs of scissors. These are my favorite. These are Couture Creations. So I go between these ones and my pink ones, unless I'm using those big scissors, which were my sewing scissors that I bought when I tried sewing and I failed miserably. So I gave my sewing machine to my mum and I kept the scissors. So if you've just joined us, welcome. I'm Naomi and I'm doing some lives today. So I'm only doing 2 lives today because well, I'm doing it from home, and I have 2 children who are running around at the moment. They're doing something, I don't know. So I will be back at 7:30 Sydney time. Australian is daylight saving time, Canberra time, or which is 8 o'clock. Oh, sorry, 8 o'clock. God, I'm getting my times mixed up. 7:30 Adelaide time tonight. I'll be doing an art journal page. So I've got a plan. So if you're free and you can join me, I'd love to see you there. And that will be the final live. So just 2 today. And of course, if you have placed an order over the weekend already, you should have a code in your email which has the no judgment postage code, which will allow you to add to your order over the weekend. Now that does end tonight at midnight. So if you have anything you want to add, make sure you add it tonight at midnight. The orders will be picked and packed in the next few days by Nat and the girls. And you won't be able to add to your order after that. So make sure you jump on, have a look in the clearance, have a look in the Black Friday sales, because some of those are like crazy discounted, which is great because we all love a good Black Friday sale, and it seems to be getting bigger and bigger in Australia. So yay for Nat jumping on that for us to grab the opportunity. All right, so nice, and I didn't even do that one correctly, but so you can use your stencils. You saw Nat yesterday use her stencils for cutouts, which is what Claire does a lot, but you can also use them as a stencil to trace with. All right, so let's have a look what we've got. So these, now D is going to be a bit, oh, you know what? I forgot to measure D. That's okay. She's going to go off the edge. So I'm only going to do 3 with D. I'm not going to do these ones here, but that's, you get the idea. So Magicals. I have this gorgeous little container. Now, I think Nat said yesterday she's going to get some of these in. I'm not sure what size she's getting in because I think her size and my size are a little different. But they are gorgeous and they're so easy to clean. The plastic ones that you can get, which are fine, but I also find that the plastic ones, the containers are a bit big for what you need. And because it's a permanent dye, you can get some of the colour staining them. This one, I literally washed out with water. I didn't even use a sponge, anything. All right, so before I do that, let's bring out my tissue paper. So I am going to put the tissue paper on all of these. Now, which one? That one's going to be that side. That one's much skinnier than that one. And that one's going to be that side, and that one's that side. All right, so tissue paper. Yes, Susan, it does. I'm going to get some gel medium. And now I'm going to put this over all of them. So my gel medium that I'm using today is Liquitex Matte Gel Medium. I think Nat might be out of stock of that, but I do use... Oh, hang on. No, that's gesso. My Dina Wakley one is out. So I'm using this one today. Now, when I'm creating with Magicals, I like to have 2 pots of... Oops, sorry about that. Just knocked that. I use an old brush for my gel medium, and I have 2 pots of water. One is clean, that stays clean. I don't put a wet brush into it. And the other one is for me cleaning my brush, especially when I'm cleaning gel medium off my brush. I don't want to be then using that same water where I'm putting my where I'm getting my water from my Magicals. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just gonna, that's probably a bit big. I'll put that over here. Oh no, I'm not using that on that one. So I forgot, I had another one. Another Christmas special I noticed I have. Now, I'm just going to pull this out. I'm actually going to put, this is a Tim Holtz one, and it is 30% off. This is a nice big reel, and I've had this for 2 years, so I've been using this a lot. It's got a nice musical note, some poinsettias, bit of leaves on there. So I'm going to put that on these ones, and this one I'm going to put on here. So that is 30% off under the Christmas. So I'll just do these ones here first. Now, I don't mind if I get a bit of a crinkle in my tissue paper when I'm putting it on here, because what that does is it creates a little bit of a bump, I guess you call it. Oops, don't breathe. A bump for the magicals to kind of fall to. So I don't have to be too pedantic with this. I mean, I'm going to rip that off because that was nothing. And I can overlap them. Now, when you are using gel medium or gesso and you're using magicals, it's different than if you were just putting it straight on watercolor paper. And now that I'm thinking about this, I could have just used some normal heavy cardstock because I am putting gel medium over it. So the watercolor paper won't affect this. But the other ones that I've done, and I'll show you those after, I did on watercolor. And actually, maybe I'll do one of these guys without gel medium. And you can just see, you get a bit more movement in watercolor paper. It allows your liquid to move more freely, and you get a bit of a better flow. When you put gel medium onto there, it kind of changes your, well, it does. It changes your surface. So you don't get the same effect. Oh, that's a nice big spot on my fingernails. And it doesn't matter that that writing's upside down. Cool, that's a good crinkle I've got there. And I will... Now, girls, you girls have been loving the Lindy's mat that I'm using under here. It has sold out, but if you want one, email the store, hello@nataliemay.com.au, and Nat could get you in one next time she does an order. So I'm going to actually properly crinkle this one. So I used to be one of those people who used to love buying my tags, gift tags, and I found I loved making my presents look pretty. I never buy gift tags anymore. I always make them every year, and it's a thing that I'm glad I get to do a couple of sessions and crafty things with you girls, because I make bucket loads of them. Everyone that gets a present, I've got 7 nieces and nephews and in-laws and all that, and plus my kids, they might get something. I'll see how good they are. Yeah, I love putting my own homemade things on there, and I also do some homemade goodies for my staff at work, so I make them one as well, and they get a little homemade tag. It just adds, I don't know, a bit of personalization to your presents. So those 4 are done. I'll put those aside there. Oh, good morning, Chloe. Lovely. I did see a little bit of your message, your second message pop up. I've left it because I don't know about the diamond things that you were talking about. So I've left that for Nat and the girls to respond to you. I'm not sure if that will happen today, though, love. See how you go. So yeah. Oh, good morning, Michelle. Yeah, do that, Michelle. It is probably and I've got my glass Tim Holtz mat under here. That's to protect my desk. I can't use that in lives either because it gives a really bad glare, so you girls can't see what I'm doing as much. I'm going to add a bit of that there. No, I'm going to add that way because I want that to be the writing to be the right way up, and I'm going to put that one there. All right, so that one's going to last me till next Christmas because look how much is left. So there is 6 yards, so that is 5.49 meters of this. So you could be using that for years to come. Mind you, the Paper Artsy one as well, I love that this comes in a little scroll thing though. The Paper Artsy one, there's like, that sheet is bigger than this mat, and this mat is huge. It has at least four to 5 sheets, so it will last a while too. Yeah, so just, good morning, Robin. Just email Nat if you want one and she can put it in your order. And that's the same with anything on the website. If you see something that you've missed out on, it's sold out and we've used it and you wanted one, obviously if you've missed out and you have to order it in, it won't be at the sale price anymore. But if it's something that you really wanted, and you think it would make your crafting life easier, or if it's a must-have, then Nat can order that in for you if they've still got it. So they will do whatever they can to get these things in. I like that. So this one is not as see-through as the other one. If I put that onto here, it would be a bit more see-through, but I like that. It's adding a bit of lightness to these tags. And what's good about these tags is that it's pretty much already coloured. So I'm not going to add too much to this, but, you know, I will add a bit. All right. Wet my brush. That's it for the gel medium. Oh, 100%, Michelle. And I have a bucket load, so, you know. All right. I'm just going to give these a little bit of a dry before I move on to doing my magicals. So if you haven't used magicals before, so they're from Lindy's Gang, and Nat is an ambassador for Lindy's Gang. She's been working with Lindy's Gang for, I think, over 15 years. I am on the design team for Lindy's, so I've been with them for about a year and a half now. And like, honestly, I love them so much that I'd probably be doing exactly the same stuff even if I wasn't on their design team. I had a bucket load as soon as a new colour comes out. They're never the same. So what I've got out today is I've got out Nat's new set, which is the Go Girl set in the shimmer. I know Nat's been using the non-shimmer one, but I like a bit of shimmer in my Christmas. So I'm going to do that. Now what I'm going to do is just trim off that one didn't stick down very well, so I'm just going to rip that off. Just trim off those bits. So I do have Nat's Go Girl set in the shimmer. So if you haven't seen the new Go Girl set, it comes in sprays, which are a flat spray. And it comes in 2 sets of magical shakers. And they are flat or shimmer. So make sure if you're ordering one particular set, I mean, I have them all. And even if I didn't get them from Lindy's, I'd buy them all because there's something different about flats. Nat loves the flats. I love the shimmers, but I do use the flats a fair bit too. Just rip that one off. It didn't quite stick down. And I'm not worrying about that pencil line around there because that'll go eventually. All right, so and we will be colouring these as well with some magicals and some Life of Colour pens. So let's start with these ones. So what I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to add a little bit of silver to these. I don't want too much colour. Now, there is a set on Nat's page. I think it's called Jingle Bells. Indeed, Chloe. I live on the website, honestly. So I'm with you. What haven't I got? Oh, you like the flats too, Susan. So these are, I think it's called the Jingle Bells set, and it's the Christmas set. So you get a nice forest green. I think there's a gold in there, a Silent Night silver, Rudolph's red nose. Can't remember what the other one is, but mine are all mixed up. I know by the names that these are a Christmas set. I'm going to add, I'm going to hold off on the red. I'm not sure if I'm going to add the red yet, but I'm going to add the silver to this background. I'm also going to add the new fairy fluff. Now, this is a bit different. So the silver's a real silver. This is a real sparkly. So you can use the fairy fluff to add to any flat magical to make it shine. Now, magicals have their own color shimmer. So this yellow, for instance, it has a bit of a yellow silver, a bit of a gold shimmer to it, whereas the I think the orchid has a bit of a purple shimmer to it. So they have their own shimmers. If you want them all to have the same shimmer, or you just want to add shimmer to one color over another, and you were using that, you could just add the fairy fluff and you'll get a bit of a pearl shimmer to it. So it's a bit of a pearl if you like. So I'm not going to use too much, so I'm not going to do those in here. I'm going to do those, or actually, no, I will use, what was I doing with this one? Thinking. I've just realized I'm going to do D with that. I might have to pivot. Okay, I'm going to pivot here. I've just had a thought. I'm going to add a little bit of Unstoppable Aqua and a bit of the fairy fluff. So it's like a shimmer aqua and then a whitey shimmer. So what I'm going to do, I only want a little bit. So I can also make it up here. And it's not much. I'm going to get my trusty Nuvo spray bottle. Now, I could dip that in there if I wanted to, and let's do that. So as I said, these ones are not my typical Christmas colours. So that's good. It's just giving me a little bit of a pop of colour, because when I do my D, she's not going to have too much colour. I might just go a little bit on that side there. So like I did with the Tim Holtz Distress Inks, you can do the same with your Lindy's as well. So you get a kind of a self pattern. So I'll put that one aside and get myself a baby wipe so I can wipe it off my hands. And girls, I know you love to be on the website and have all the things, and don't get me wrong, I'm right with you. Nat does something and I still go, oh, I need to have that. So I'm right there with you. It's a really lovely, that aqua is really lovely in all of them. The flats, the shimmers, like it's actually gorgeous. I think it's my favorite. So now this cardstock, because it's 350 GSM, it's not watercolor, but it is taking that liquid. There's no bow in that at all, even though I've put a bunch of liquid on there. So the last one, what I'll do is I'll grab myself. So my go-to watercolor brush is the Art by Marlene brushes. I love those. So I'm just gonna just add a little bit. There's not much left there. And it really matches the background there. So it's actually just taking a bit of that white away and just blending it in a bit. Okay, into the right bucket. And these mats are so good that you can just wipe it off. There's gel medium stuck on there too. And that just wipes right off as well. So yes, they have sold out. You girls have loved them. So, all right, let's dry that because I want to add the fairy fluff as well. Now, Nat did say that probably on Monday, like, I don't expect her to be online or doing anything today. She needs a day off. She did say she was going to put her lives onto her YouTube channel. So you can always watch them back on the Facebook page here. Just scroll down or look at the, click on the photos link and they'll have videos in there. But she does put them up on her YouTube channel as well. I've got, mine's already up, or it's uploading at the moment from last night on my YouTube channel. I put my own up. So if you are looking to follow me, I have had a few people request me personally, which is fine, on Facebook, but I don't put anything on my personal Facebook page about my craft stuff. Well, I mean, I did when I'm announced on Teams and that sort of thing, but I don't put my craft work on there. I'm under Toki Creations, which is Tokey Creations on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to follow me on there, if you want to look at my, and I'm on YouTube as well. And people ask me, what does Toki Creation mean? I was trying to think of something that was personal, and I already had creations there because I was doing a bit of cricket stuff. Oh, not cricket, but silhouette things earlier. I used to do baubles, handmade baubles and that sort of thing. So I came up with Toki, which is a combination of my two boys. So Thomas and Blake, who we call Blakey. So I just combined the two to be Toki. And that's how it came about. So, oh, that has dried up beautifully. This one particularly, it's got a few little bursts of that colour. So let me bring that up to camera. I'm not sure if you can. Oh, it's hot. And again, it's such good quality that it's not, it hasn't really bent even with the heat gun. So that looks really, really nice. And I love the splotchy painty. This one's not got that. It's a bit of a more subtle background. All right, so the fairy fluff. Now mine tipped. So I have it everywhere. I could almost, yeah. I haven't even opened the shaker there. So if you haven't seen the Lindy's shakers before, they're both the magicals, which is these old magicals, and the shakers they brought out. They've combined them into one. So you can take the whole lid off. I'm not going to do it with this one because, as I said, I have dropped this one, or the kids have dropped it, and this obviously wasn't sealed. So you can tap onto here, and I will tap onto this one. And then these ones can be wiped in. And then you can take the whole thing off and scoop to make up your colours, which I'll show you later with the next one. All right, so water spray here. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Now, I'm not sure that this is going to show up too well on the camera. But that has just given, I'll bring it up. I've just got a really nice pearly, let's see if the camera will show it. Now, there is a delay with the camera, so I'm going to have to wait. Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Oh, yes, you can. Okay, you did see it. So you can see there's a bit of a pearly shimmer to that. And it is combining with the blue that's already there. So, because it wasn't quite dry. So it's given it a beautiful, subtle shimmer to that. All right, so that's that one. That one can sit aside. I'll put it on the floor to dry naturally, hopefully. It's heating up in here. So now this bit up here, I've done it a little bit far up. I'm going to do the same thing and just tip my card in. Oh, see, and it's reactivated a little bit, which is fine. So I've got a little bit of a pearl. I'm loving that. I've got a bit of the pearl and then the bit of the blue shimmer over there. So that is, oh, hello, Alison. So that one's looking good too. And then this one, I'll just clean that off. And what I'll do with this one, now that has got fairy fluff all over my mat there because of my little spillage. So what I'll do is I'll just create up a little, tip it open, little bit there. And because I'm using such a little amount, I'm just going to put a wet brush into there. So that's created a nice little pearl puddle. And I'm just going to splatter that on. So some of that will react with the colour that's already there, but some of that is directly onto the backing paper. So that will give a nice little, I don't want to move that too much because I like those splatters. You probably can't see. It's very hard to see fairy fluff because it's a pearl. Is the best way to describe it. It's a pearl shimmer. All right, let's move on to our other magicals. So those 3 are done. Let's move on here. So my backgrounds for these ones. Now I'm going to mix a couple. Well, you know what? I'm actually going to sprinkle and spritz. I will make some up later. I've just changed my mind in the middle of it. This is my thought process happening. All right, I'm going to sprinkle and spritz. Now, the great thing about these colors that Nat has created is they combine beautifully. You'll find that we don't have an orange, but if we combined a few, or a purple, we combine a few, we can get a purple and an orange. So I'm going to do 2 at a time. Now, this yellow is gorgeous. It's almost neon, but it's not. So if I put that with a bit of green, and this is a great green for Christmas, this Get It Girl green. If you've ever heard Tracy from Lindy's, she's American, and the way she says girl is very spot on. So I've got the green. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the Unstoppable Aqua. So this is called the sprinkle and spritz technique. And what is different about this is that all those Lindy's colours are made up with different colours to make those colours, because they're not primary colours, so they're made up by all different colours. So all those bits of dust, or whatever you want to call it, in there, the pigment is all different colours made up. So when you sprinkle and spritz, sometimes you might get a bit of yellow in a pink, you might get a bit of yellow in a green, you might get a bit of dark blue in a aqua. So those other colors that are made up of the Lindy's will come through in the sprinkle and spritz technique. So I'm not putting a lot of water. Isn't that magical? Like, I just love that. So I've got a little bit of water on here. Now this one I will move around. Now, I don't think I've got enough aqua. So now that I've already, and I'll grab my brush. So this one down here didn't activate because I didn't put a lot of water on there, and neither did this bit over here. You know, I might actually move my camera down a bit more, girls, because these are quite far away. I think that should be better. I'm just waiting for my camera to catch up. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. All right, so you do get, now if you can have a look over here, the sprinkle and spritz technique, you can sometimes get these little edges of splattering, which looks completely different to a painted edge. I love that. That's one of my favorite effects of Lindy's Magicals, is that. So we're getting a real different green to up there down here where the aqua's combined. I'm just going to tip that off because I want to put a bit more of the aqua on here. I'm purposely, and because that's already wet, it's already starting to activate. Now I'll give it a bit of another spritz. So we're getting a real deep green there, which is great for Christmas. And I'm going to just activate those there. You don't have to activate those. I just like to. And then I'm just going to drip them onto my mat. Spread that around. So you'll see the creases there in my tissue paper. They have caught. It's where the Magical's trapped there, and it gives it a bit of texture as well. I might use that over here. And maybe even up the top there. Get rid of that. Now, I This one needs a bit more. I think I'm going to go with a bit more yellow on this one. And a little bit on there. So you can always keep adding. You just got to remember that the more liquid you put on, the runnier it will be. If you want a very dry look, you would dry it off and then go again. That didn't activate. And then there's a little bit there that didn't activate. A little bit in there. So we've got like a real array of colours with those 3 colours. All right, so let me put those just over here to the side. Hopefully I don't put my elbow in them. And let's do these 2. Now, as I said, there's not as much flow with those as there is with, I'll do this one as well, because I've got the gel medium on there. All right, so this one can be, well, how about we go with the pinks and the blues? This will make a bit of a purple. Does the blue have a shimmer in it as well? Yes, Chloe, this one does. So I'm using the shimmer set, but you can get the flat set as well. So this one had a, if I open this up and show you in here, you can actually see in the dust particles, there's a, or on the top of the lid, I don't know if you can see that. There's a, in the, you definitely can see it on the lid, but there's a bit of a purpley blue shimmer to it. Whereas the fairy fluff has a white pearl shimmer. So they're all individual shimmers. All right, so let's go with those colors. So I think what I'll do, let's use the female, what is it? Fierce Female Flush, and this one's the Own It Orchid. All right, so I'm going to put a bit on there. And it is a bit of trial and error how much magicals you use. Just play around. You can always add more. You don't want to add too much and not be able to remove it. So I've been playing with magicals for years, so I kind of know. And I mean, you just saw then I had to add with my green. And my green was falling off the table. All right, so I've got a bit there. I'm going to add the aqua, but I'm going to do this first so I can see how much movement I've got. So see how that moved a lot more than these? That's because of the gel medium. So I'm actually having to add a bit more gel media, a bit more magicals to these ones than I would to this one. So that's like actually flowing and moving around quite well. All right, let's add a little bit more around the edge here. And then, so see there, this Own It Awkward has blue particles to it, and that's come out in the sprinkle and spritz technique. So you won't get that when you make them up in the pots. So that's how you can use them, totally different. Yeah, I love the shimmer too, Chloe. All right, I'm going to add the aqua in now, bit in there too. Now, making sure when you do add colours together that they go there next to each other on the colour wheel, or you're going to get mud. All right, so we've got, so this is already getting its purple there. And I'm going to give it a help along with my brush. You can, so if you move it around, so this has got so much more movement in that one. Move that over there. Now this one might be, didn't take off. So if you find you put a bit too much liquid on and you're getting little pools like this, just grab a piece of paper towel and just pull the liquid up. I'll do that on that little tag as well. And then I can go back in with my brush and move some of that around. So we've got a beautiful purple there with those pinks and the blues. Here, a bit more. more purple in that one. So I might add a bit more of that pink. A little bit there too. All right, we'll just give those a bit of an activation. I've probably used a little bit too much blue on these ones than I normally like to, but that's okay. We'll just go with it. So there's a bit of yellow popping out in that purple as well. Now, to help that dry, I'm going to just soak up those bits there. And those bits. How are we going for time? Oh, nearly an hour. All right. Let's just pop those aside. And let's look at colouring our Ds. So our Ds are our focal point. And to save you all time and the boringness of watching me cut and stamp, I have pre-done these. So magicals are a great way to colour your focal points as well. And this is where I'm going to make them up in here. So my idea is that some of the Ds that are going on the blue tags are going to be, I'm going to use that Slam Dunk, the Silver Night. I'll keep Silent Night Silver. Goodness me, I can't get my... So I'm just going to get a little... So these are the old magicals. Oh, hello, Emily. Thank you for joining. And if you have also just joined, thank you for joining. I am doing some Christmassy mixed media tags here with some magicals and different things. We're up to our focal points. And then I'll be back tonight at 7:30 Adelaide time to do... an art journal page. So one of them is going to, I need 3 Ds. Here we go. I'm not going to colour them all in, but I just want to give you the idea of how we're going. So one's going to be silver. Now, I'm going to use a really light amount. And as soon as I saw this colour come out, I said to Nat, I'm going to use that to colour some skin. Fierce Female Flush. That's going to be her skin colour. Let's start with those two for now, and then we'll move on. So I'm just using a pipette. These are $1.50 on the website just to activate those. I don't need much. I put probably too much in that one. I'm going to find a very small brush because this is going to be delicate, and I think... I don't often buy tiny brushes, so I think I'm going to have to go to... Oh, hang on. Oh. That one. Yeah, I don't often buy tiny brushes because I'm normally an art journaler, but, you know, and I don't know what these... Half of these are the kids' brushes probably that I've stolen because I've needed a small brush. Oh, hang on. No, this one will do it. I think these are the Uniquely Creative ones, and they're really good. And it's got a nice fine point. All right, so Fierce Female Flush. I've added a very small amount here. So let me get a piece of paper. I'll use one of these. So I'll just test that. Okay, I may have added a little too less, so we can always add to it. So I'm just going to... a bit more. I don't want it to be pinked face, but you know. All right. That's looking a little bit better. Let's see. You girls are not going to be able to see that because I can barely see it, but it does have a... It has a tone to it, a skin tone. Let's just add a little bit more. That was probably a bit too much. Now she's going to be too pink. All right, try again. Okay, that's better. All right, so now when you are colouring with your magicals on a stamped image, first of all, you need to make sure you have used archival ink. Archival ink is permanent, it is waterproof, and it will not move when you add liquid to it. If you use something else, it will move. Just add her neck, her hands, her other hand. And the other thing you want to do is you want to dry your colours in between, because it will help. You don't want them to join when you're colouring. So I don't know if you can see that very well. Let me bring it up to camera because I don't think you can see that, but I can definitely see it. Now, what I have used to stamp my D on is just some plain cardstock. It's 250 GSM cardstock. So she's got a very light tone to her. I might add, so it's not a watercolor paper. I don't really like to use watercolor paper for my focal images, unless it's a big one. But when we're talking about little images, I just like to use plain cardstock. And Magicals work fine on that. You've just got to make sure you allow time for it to dry. Now, there's nothing fancy about, I might do the insides of her ears too. There's nothing fancy about my colouring here with the paintbrush. And in fact, I'm leaving a little bit of white space in there. That's for two reasons. One, it helps with the colours not joining together if they don't go right to the edge. But also, it gives that look that I've actually coloured it. So I'm only going to do this quickly because I want to get these put together. Get her shoes. I got a bit lazy in the fussy cutting and cut between those legs and not there. All right. So now moving on to my first D. I am gonna dry that. Now what I could do to give her some flush cheeks is just to go in over the top of her cheeks there with the same colour and just put a circle motion, and it will dry on top of that layer, like just building up colour. It's definitely showing. I think it's just showing on the screen. All right. So if you're looking for a nice small brush, this came in a set. This is a number 6, and it is a Uniquely Creative brush, and they are 15% off today. So there's a nice set. You get a number 10 in it as well, and there's a few different shapes. I have like 500 brushes in my thing, so I'm not going to go through it all. So I'm making her pajamas this silver. So I'm just going to be really careful to not colour. Actually, I'm just going to go over her. I've just worked out what I'm doing. So I'm just going over the baubles. Is that what they are? The lights that are on her. I'm not going over the star. Sorry about the child having a tantrum in the background. Apparently he only wants ham on a plate, not on a sandwich. So I'm not sure what's going on out there, but I can hear the whole conversation. All right. So this one's going to be a monotone kind of D. Her shoes are going to be silver as well. And that star will be fine. Her little things there. Her hair is obviously going to be grey. I'm not sure what this thing is in the middle here. What does our stamp show? Is it a halo? Is it her hair? Oh, it's her hair. Okay. It's her hair. We'll keep going with that silver then. And then I'm going to make up a brown for her antlers. Actually, I'll get a brown for her antlers. What have we got here? This one will do. A cocoa bean copper. So I only want a little bit of that. So the other thing you can do, if you're only using a tiny, tiny bit, and I'm only doing that, I'm just going to tip my wet brush right into my pot. Put it here. And so if you don't even want to sprinkle it on, that's what you can do. Now, I am coming back to these baubles. Don't worry, those baubles won't be lost. There's a bit of a pinky to this copper, but that's okay. Now, I do need to give her ears a bit of a colour there. So what I might do, don't want them to be completely different. I'll put a bit of that flush in there with the brown. I might actually go over her eyelids as well, make them a bit darker. There we go. Good with that. All right, so that's, I could probably do the other ones with the same antlers while I've got that. Nice, easy way. Oop. Plain cardstock, when it's wet like this, it will bend a bit. So now I would recommend stamping your Ds or stamping your stamps and then cutting them out when they're dry. I've only cut them out before to save you guys watching me cut. I don't have a fussy cutter in my house like Nat does, so I got up this morning and went, right, I've got to fussy cut my own things. And I'm not I don't like fussy cutting. It's not my favourite thing to do. Look, I'll do it because I love the effect of stamping and colouring your own things, but it's just not my favourite thing. So wherever I can get out of it, I will. All right. And then I'll do this one and then I'll mix the two up to do the backs of the ears and the eyelids. So if you are just joining us, I see we've got a few extra people jumping on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the 4th day and it's the bonus day of the Great International Show, Craft Online Show. And, whoops, that was nearly off. And I am jumping in to give Nat a break, but to help you girls continue the love of the Great International Craft Show online over the weekend. So we have the specials continuing for the remainder of the weekend. And I will be back tonight at 7:30 Adelaide time. So jump online and have a look at those specials. Oh, that's a bit darker than I wanted, but that's okay. So they have continued. So these D stamps, they are all in Create, but they are Christmas too. So these ones are in the Christmas 30% off. So I'm just going to add to her hair here. Up there, a bit of that. So if you see what I did, I put it here. That's because I wanted to use the water on my brush to tone it down a bit. I made it a bit dark there. All right. Let's wipe that up and move on. So these are super easy to colour as well. So one of these are going to go on the green one. So I'm going to use the, what colour is it more? Green. I'm going to use the aqua. And then the other one's going on to the purple one. So I might use yellow. Yeah, let's do that. All right, again, not using a lot of colour here, so I'm just going to pop a little bit on my mat. And it's only so I don't have to clean out my little pot there. So yellow. Now the yellow has a real gold shimmer to it. So I'm doing her ears. I'm going down over all those baubles. Oh, I shouldn't have done yellow. That's all right. I'll make that star silver. I forgot there's a star in the middle. Look, she's holding a star there. Or she's tangled herself in a star. And I'm getting there. This is one of my favourite things to do is to sit and play with magicals. Now, I am going to colour these stars, so I've got the yellow out. And I'm being very careful not to colour that grey that's already on that other one. All right, that's enough for that. And there is a plan for those the balls. So bear with me. I know it's watching paint dry here. I think, yeah, we'll go with the aqua. That's probably a lot. Again, just, it's going to be a nice bright. You just got to make sure that those, when you do it on your mat, that those activate, those little bits of powder activate. And I actually might use a little bit of that's left over on my mat to stamp on my tags with. So you can stamp with magicals as well. I always stamp with my magicals. It doesn't give a crisp stamp like you would for a normal ink pad. But so she's looking pretty cute. I'm going to move her aside just for a second. All right, girls, out the way. And let's bring back, I'm going to actually do it with these two, just because they're the lighter colours. I'm going to dry these quickly. And then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use a stamp from one of my Paper Artsy minis. And I don't know what Nat's got left on the site, to be honest, but I have a bucket load of Paper Artsy minis. They're one of my favourite mini stamps to mark make with, and I actually have them. I put the names on the back there. So this is a TSM 04. I don't know if that's available, but you know, any circle dot mini stamps, there's a heap of Paper Artsy mini stamps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp with this one. So when you stamp with magicals, let me just move this out. You kind of need to spread it out a bit on your mat. So we want to make sure all that pigment is activated. And I'm going to go this end. And what you want to do is you want to stamp on and then stamp off. Because it's liquid, you don't want a big blob of just water. So see, I've got, and it's just a watermark kind of thing, but it just adds a different, goes in with what you're already using because you're using the same colours. And look, I'm even going to go on to these ones as well, which aren't quite dry, but, you know, let's just go with it. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. That one you can see really well because I have no gel medium on it. All right, I'm liking those. So it's just adding a different, oh, what has she done there on there? And they will expand because it's liquid, and liquid expands a little bit on your paper, on your substrate. So that will give a real watercolor look to it. I might actually bring those other tags up and dry them all together. And we will add a little bit of stamping to these ones as well. Oh, that's got a nice, the fairy fluff is really coming out now that it's dry. I'll bring them up to camera so you can see much better. So this one here that I'm drying now, that's the one that we flicked it on. I'm sorry, I'll just bring that up a bit. This is the one we dumped it in. It's got a nice pool of water in the middle there. These guys are nearly done. So we're nearly there, girls. Thank you for sticking with me. I've been going for a little bit. I never stick under an hour. I get going and then I don't want to stop. All right. So I'm just going to cheat there with that one and use my paper towel just to wipe that up. All right, let's pull these together now. So before I do that, this guy can go out the way. That's a little bit wet still. No, yes, it is. Just in that corner. And that one. Did I miss that? All right, so let's pull these ones down and give them a bit of stamping. And we're not going to stamp on these ones with magicals. I'm actually going to move the magicals out the way before I knock them over. And I'll finish some of these off. I'm only going to complete the 3 different ones, and then I'll finish them off later and hand them over. So I'm going to use some permanent ink. Now, I love this one. There was 3 on the website yesterday when I looked, but I haven't looked today. This is the Paper Artsy Joffy JM77. I used this last night as well. It's one of my favourites. And I don't know, I kind of get a bit of a Christmassy vibe about it. So, actually, I get everything vibe about it because I use it a lot. So, I'm just adding a little bit of dimension, bit of marks, and that's it there. Nice and easy. Clean that off my stamp, and then I'll just quickly dry those. Now we're on to our D's. So we're adding those balls back, the lights back into our D's. So just going to make sure that these are very dry, and I will turn her over. I always dry on the back as well, just to give the fibres that are at the back a bit of, and it kind of normally lays it out. Now, a little tip, girls, if you haven't used any texture paste or anything like that, and your paper, you've used a lighter cards, like a lighter weight stock for anything liquid base, and you get a little bit of warping, and if it bothers you, grab a laminator. Laminators you can get for 15 bucks. Grab a laminator and turn it on and just whack them through your laminator. These are curling because I've cut them out first. Normally these wouldn't curl. They'd be on the big, and then I'd cut them out afterwards. So let's bring in our Life of Colour pens. Now, these are the old colour pens. So these are the fine tip, and I think these are the brights, and they are available on the website. They are not discounted, but you've got to have Life of Colour pens or some sort of marker pens. We've also got the Marlene Duos, which I may use as well with one of the colours. Actually, I will use the Marlene Duos. But I definitely wanted red for this one. So I'm going to add red and yellow. So you just need to activate the Life of Colour ones. I haven't used these ones for a while, so push down, and that's a nice red. The good thing about these is that they're acrylic, so I can easily go over my magicals and bring those lights some colour. And again, nothing fancy. Wipe that up, and a bit of yellow. Oh, I'll just make sure my hand's not in the way there. Brightens her up. And there we go. So that's one of our D's. Nice and done. And she will go on to one of those ones. this one here, I'm going to, now I need to add a different color star. So what I might do is grab a green. This is a, maybe it's, what color is this? It's a bit of a yellowy green. I don't think that's right. I know what I'll do. Although that might be a bit, that, my mirror effects. I don't think I'm going to get that in there. These are a bit big. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm getting there. It's not the best, but. So Nat has these back in stock. These are one of my favourite pens. They are medium tip, so they're really good for, you get a pack of 3 mirror effect pens. They're really good for journaling, big journal pages. All right, so I'm going to grab, I might grab the purples and that green and this blue. All right, so I'm just going to give that a bit of a shake. All right, so just going to add so these are acrylic paint in a pen. It will easily go over magicals. You may find that if you are using a white acrylic paint pen over magicals, it will change the color of your pen. So if you put it over red magicals, you may end up with pink pen. But when we're doing these ones with the darker colors, they definitely don't. I'm going to add yellow into this one as well. And they're very juicy, so they're quite bright. I'm going to add a few colors into that one. And this one. So these are the Art by Marlene Duos, which are a brush tip. And they are fine for this as well. In fact, I only need to do a little tap for those ones. And we'll put some purple on here too. So you've got 2 different shades of the colour at each end, or one different colour at each end, 2 shades. So I've got the light purple, dark purple. These are great, and they're acrylic as well. And then this one I'm going to add a bit of this green in. Nope, I'm going to add a bit of this green in. Just not, there we go. Nice, easy way to do fine. There's no way I could do magicals or anything watercolor with those fine details there. It just wouldn't, I just don't have a small enough brush to do that. I mean, if I wanted to get one that's small enough, I could do it, but it's really not worth my time. So this one here is from the new set, the brush tips, which is an ocean set that I've got. I'm going to use, this is a bit of a cheats way of adding a bit of blush. I could actually have even used that for her skin tone. That is a great skin tone. So I've just given her a little bit of something there, and she's good. Like, there's 3 little D's. So let's put them together. So where's that big splodgy one? I think this one's my favorite. So this D is going to go on here. So I'm going to use these foam dots that Nat's been banging on about all weekend, and there's a very good reason to bang on about them because they are fantastic. And I've got half of one here, which I'm going to cut this in half, put it on her feet so it gives her a little bit of dimension. On there. on there, and I'll cut another one in half for the antlers because you don't want them flinging around. All right. So on the home stretch, girls, thank you for sticking with me. Is anyone have been creating with me? So now I'm putting her down the bottom because I want her to be, she needs to be standing on something. So I will do a bit of a, I'll actually grab my Stabilo and give her a bit of a, you know, a bit of a shelf. And I'll just use my little brush to activate that. Not much, but just give her a bit of a shelf to walk on, because then she's not floating. Now, the sentiments on that, on here, all wrapped up in Christmas spirit. So what I would do here is to bring a bit of light back into my page. Is I just grab a bit of my cardstock, a little brick, and I'll do 2 at once, save time. Archival ink. I'm sorry you can't see me doing that off the screen, but I'm putting archival ink on there. And I'll do another one because I know I'm going to do, actually, I know I'm doing 6. Nice crisp stamp, except for the bottom bit where I smudged my hand, but that's okay. Let's be honest, half of the kids are going to put theirs in the bin, but that's not the point. The point is I love doing these. All right. Now, to make that stand out on the page, put those aside. All right, so this one, I'm going to cut it up. You can put it on as one block, but you know it's summer when all Sunday you can hear mowing. Everyone's mowing their lawns. Actually, it could be my husband mowing the lawn. Now that he's finished arguing with the 5-year-old about what he's having for lunch. So I like to, when I split them up like this, depending on what I'm making, is put them on a bit of an angle. Now, the other thing I like to do is grab one of my duo tips, which I've put in a very safe spot. Actually, it's in here. It's in my little... And I just want to give it a quick edge. So instead of getting my nails wet and using a blending brush to do this with archival ink, I just do it with my brush tip duo marker from Art by Marlene. Just gives it a little edge. And I won't do all of those, girls. I'll just do one more of the colours, and then I'll finish them off and put up a photo for you. You're going to make a little booklet for a present for someone this afternoon. Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, they would look good on a front cover. She's super cute. All right. Then I'm just going to use my Art by Marlene sticky glue. All wrapped up. Now there's only one more thing I need to do to finish this one off. Now, if I purposely put them crooked, that's great. Because then I don't have to had anything straight. So I can either do a pen border, which I'll probably do on this one, or I could ink the edges. But I'm going to do a pen border with my trusty pen that I've put in a very safe spot. My Uniball pen. It just gives it that finished look. And then some of that Christmas ribbon that Nat used yesterday, which I don't have in front of me, but I do have some somewhere. But I just put ribbon through. And once I finish this next one, I'll give you a quick look at the stash of ones that I did with a different, similar style, but just a different background, a different sentiment. All right, let's use this one. And I think D's going to go there. Now, I'm okay with D being off the page, and that's perfectly fine. So what I will do, though, is I'm going to stick her down. I'm not going to put glue where her, and I make sure that I don't cover the hole. Oh, I may have to punch that, because otherwise I might lose a bit more of her. Hang on. Let's go this way. There we go. So I missed a bit there. I think I missed a bit of her hair, bit of that antler. What I like about the Art by Marlene sticky glue is you don't have to wait for it. So because she's off the page, I don't need anything to hold her down. And this one I'm going to keep full. Just trim it down. Again, my duo marker. So I've got plenty of white in this to create my balance. I've left white there purposely for that. I've also got white in D and in this. And I've got my depth in my black in the stamping, also in my tissue paper in the background. And then for one last final bit is, again, I'll just get that pen and I'll just go around here with a bit of a squiggly line. Oh, I think the mower I can hear is my husband. And there you go. So that's what they're going to look like, those two. So let me quickly grab the other stash so I can show you a different way of doing them with the same backgrounds. And I've actually used some Christmas ribbon I had lying around. So these are with the Paper Artsy, same tissue paper, same magicals in the background, but I've used flat magicals in the background. And these are a Paper Artsy stamp. I think that one is sold out now. But these are all the reindeer ones. I think this is a different stamp. There's one of these on the website still, but very similar. I've used magicals. This one I've just cut out of shape. I think this is the one that's left on the website with the border and the baubles. And there's that stamp that I love. So nice, easy way to do a beautiful handmade tag for your Christmas presents. So thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll be back at 7:30 tonight, Adelaide time, for one last live for the weekend as part of the Great International Craft Show. And don't forget, jump online to nataliemay.com.au to grab all of your specials. We have 15% off pattern paper, 15% off all and create, Minte 3/4 designs, 49 a market, simple stories, paper rose, uniquely creative, plus massive 30% off all Christmas stuff. So that's this, that's the tissue paper, any of these stamps that are still left. Have a look, see what's there. And also this Tim Holtz tissue paper, the collage paper, that one is. And there's a big Black Friday sale, plus your clearance section. So make sure you jump online to nelliemay.com.au, have a look, have a coffee, have a scroll through, and grab yourself some bargains before they finish at midnight tonight. So thanks, girls. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back later. Bye.